For better or for worse, in sickness and in health. We've all heard those vows before. But what happens when you actually have to live up to them? On today's case, the Jacksons' love has been put to the ultimate test. Ms. Jackson actually fears that her life-altering surgery, coupled with her meddling mother-in-law, have put her marriage on a one-way track to divorce. Let's hear their case.
Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Starr presiding. Your Honor, this is the case of Jackson versus Jackson.
Absolutely, thank you. Ms. Jackson, you came here today because you and your husband have hit a rough patch in your marriage. You're experiencing really the worst part of in sickness and in health, as you're not only dealing with a new disability, but you're also trying to set boundaries with your mother-in-law, who is the third party in your marriage.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Jackson, you say you want your wife to accept her disability so that you all can move on with your lives. And you also don't believe your mother is a problem in your marriage. You say you married a resilient woman and fears your wife has become victim to her own circumstances. And that is indeed a turnoff.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, let's get into this. Mrs. Jackson, why don't you start us out?
Well, Your Honor, I'm here today because I'm tired, okay? I have been dealing with an issue when it comes to my surgery that I had a few months ago. I feel like that my husband is really leaving me. I feel like he has no interest in me anymore because of my new disability now. You know, we met in Florida 8 years ago. We've been together for 8 years, been married 5. I fell in love with his sense of humor, but at the end of the day, I'm tired because I already have to deal with this issue, and I just feel like he's slipping away.
Mrs. Jackson makes a case for having lost her husband. Mr. Jackson, what do you say?
Your Honor, she has not lost her husband. What's happening now is she's in her head for everything. This is getting to the point now, she's not losing me, but her emotion, she's an emotional wreck. We've been together 8 years. When I met her, she was resilient. This new disability, she has to learn to grow with it. It's not something that's gonna happen overnight, but she's an emotional wreck.
Talk us through what has happened over the course of these 8 years to get us here.
Your Honor, at the beginning of the 8 years, everything was fine. You know, we were making love almost every night. I mean...
You go, girl.
You know, at the end of the day, life happens, right? So I ended up having surgery. I was diagnosed with charcot neuropathy in my left foot, and I suffered with that for a few years. So it came to a point where they couldn't save my foot anymore, and they had to take it.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, since they took the foot, I can't do certain things. I have to depend on him, which I already feel bad that I can't do nothing. And then when it comes to the, you know, being intimate now, or him looking at me a certain way that I like, it's like, you know, he doesn't do that anymore. And I'm
Girl,
like,
you cute as hell. The first thing I thought when I walked out here was, what a pretty lady.
Well, thank you.
Your Honor, I don't care about her foot at all. That has not changed the way that we are. She's wrapped up in her head thinking that I don't look at her like that. Now, I'm gonna be honest, like, I made a joke about her little leg. I call it my nub. I made a song about it. I said, we nubbing, we bucking, we ready to fight. That's just my little nub. That's how I love on it. Like, she just don't get that I'm showing her the best way I can to love on her.
Miss Jackson, you know that was cute. That was cute.
For the moment, for the moment. But when we're having sex, and I'm looking at his face, and he's getting frustrated because he's telling me to wrap my legs around him, how do you think I feel? You know, so at the end of the day, you know, did he just say, just throw the leg over here? Just throw it to the side.
Girl, you do realize that the people are laughing because they are loving on the fact that your husband is trying to make you feel as good as possible. It breaks my heart that you had to suffer this disability, and I know that it has changed you. Don't let anybody tell you you are not allowed to have your feelings at all. You are allowed to have your feelings.
Your Honor, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna give you an example.
Yes, ma'am.
Valentine's Day, okay?
Okay.
Now, Valentine's Day, you know, my mother-in-law, she went out of town. We had the whole house to ourselves. So you know, we stayed home, we didn't go nowhere, we watched movies, and I had on this dress. You know, I was looking all sexy and stuff. He bought me some candy and a bear, you know, it was cute. I know it's about to go down. I'm touching on him and everything. He ain't even budging. He ain't budging. He looking at me, oh, I'm tired. We've been laying down all day.
Mr. Jackson, what was that about? Because it looked like your wife was ready to rock and roll. What happened?
So, Your Honor, let me just put it like this. Yes, Valentine's Day, that's a big holiday. So I know she probably thought that was gonna happen. We're not newlyweds no more. Having intercourse or relations like that is not the most important thing to me. I cook for her, I made sure she was comfortable. I did all of this. I do get tired, I work a lot, so as she said, I did lay around that day, but I'm tired.
I think you all were not speaking each other's love language at that moment. You thought acts of service was what she needed, and you needed the physical touch. It's as if you all were speaking French and Spanish in the same house at the same time. And the key to communication is to speak the same language. Now, you can be bilingual,
Okay.
but you need to speak the same language at times of conflict.
Okay.
You need to figure out what will make her happy in times of conflict, and you need to give him a break so that he knows what makes you happy. That's at the time of conflict. Because during happy times, you can speak all kinds of languages. You could be speaking in tongues. Because in happy times, it doesn't really matter. You all are already in sync. Talk me through how this really is affecting you. Because Mrs. Jackson, I'm worried about your own psyche. I want you to see the beautiful woman that I see when I look at you.
Well, I'm gonna tell you about this emotional roller coaster that I've been on when it comes to dealing with my husband. I'm an emotional wreck, okay?
Yes.
I'm a crybaby at times. I cry for everything. I cry 'cause
How long ago was the surgery?
it was 3 months ago.
Oh, this is brand new for you.
Brand new, yes.
So I can imagine that at any given moment, you get into a little state of depression and you have figured out how to pull yourself out, but you can stay there for a minute.
She plays victim with this, and like I said, I understand the whole situation.
He taunts me.
You about to lose your husband. Then I said, what the hell wrong with you? You out here just looking all mad and stuff, just mad.
But you know what, Mr. Jackson, not for nothing, you are very talented, but that would get on my nerves if I was your wife.
I admit that. I'm a crybaby. I'm a big crybaby. I mean, cry with me sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to be all, like, so serious. He always telling me, oh, I don't want to hear that crying. Stop that crying. Oh, here you go again with the crying. You know? At the end of the day, that's how I express myself, Your Honor. And then he wants to go into this
Honor.
rage of a Medea impersonation and talk about, so, ooh, you about to lose your husband.
Your
I'm an
Honor.
emotional wreck.
Mr.
Your Honor.
Jackson?
Your Honor. She plays victim with this, and like I said, I understand the whole situation, but her being in her head and then she's saying that I'm not there mentally, physically, or none of the above. What else is there for me to do?
Mrs. Jackson, I can tell you that at times Mr. Jackson may slip up and say the wrong thing or tell a joke where it's inappropriate. You need to get to a point where you just tell him, I'm not feeling that today, and you need to respect her when she says she's not feeling that today.
Okay.
That's the one thing that we know that we can resolve very quickly, very easily. Some days you do want to get into bed and just curl up and cry. But I got a rule for depression when it comes to us. We get to have it a day. And then we need to roll over and get it back together, okay? And if we can't get it back together alone, I have another rule. We need to seek some help so that people can help us. What else is the problem? Because y'all gonna make me mad because y'all so in love. Gets on my nerves when folk come up in here all in love in divorce court. What else is going on?
Well, Your Honor, he taunts me, and I'm gonna tell you why. One day, he's, you know, out of the blue, he questioned me about my credit card bill, and I told him I didn't pay my bill this month. He know I ain't got no money. So why you gonna come to me and ask me why I ain't pay my bill?
I don't taunt her. What I told her is, you can open your mouth up for everything else. You can tell me when your bills are due. Now, me, everything that I do with her, I try to make the light of a situation. Because I made a taunt to her. I said, you about to lose your husband. You about to lose your man. Then I said, what the hell wrong with you? You out here just looking all mad and stuff, just mad. And then she told me, no, you can't do that. You can't do that to me. And I'm like, how all my life I had to fight. That's what I do.
But you know what, Mr. Jackson, not for nothing, you are very talented, I like you, but that would get on my nerves if I was your wife on a regular basis. This is who he is. This is your man. This is the man that you picked. You picked.
I picked him up.
You picked him, but you picked him because of who he is. Okay, now what is wrong with the mother-in-law?
She meddles. I want privacy with me and my husband.
But are you meddling, Miss Charlie?
I do come in because I'm old school. I don't knock.
I feel as though that we just need better boundaries.
She gives me sex advice. She shows me how to get on top.
It's not her
and she
watch.
demonstrates.
If you'd like your case to be heard on divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at divorcecourt.com. Missed a show? Watch full episodes on our streaming platforms and follow us on social media for exclusive content. Okay, now what is wrong with the mother-in-law? Tell me.
She complains, she meddles. I feel like it's a whole threesome in the house. That's how I feel. She barges in when she wants to. She picked the locks. It's no
locks?
Yeah, it's no locking doors in the house. Oh, don't lock a door.
Oh wait, why did Mr. Jackson drop his head down? Because he know that. See, that's a first tell.
He with the shenanigans too.
No,
right
that's
along
the
with him.
first tell of that's the truth.
So, Your Honor, my mother has been with us for 8 years.
Wow.
Since the relationship has started.
Wow.
This was a whole package
deal.
when we got together.
Yes.
Okay, but Mr. Jackson, let me think. Remember, Bible class, okay, my grandmother from heaven just sent it to me. Genesis 2:24. Therefore, a man shall leave his father and his mother and hold fast to his wife, and they shall become one flesh.
Correct.
I know that verse.
So, what have happened?
What has happened is, due to the situations that was going on with with my wife, my mother was helping me out because I don't work in state. I travel a lot for work. So she has been a living help.
But wait a minute, I just want to go back. You said your mother has been living there for 8 years. She just got her foot amputated 3 months ago. So what happened in that first 7 years?
My wife has been sickly. She was a diabetic. She had other issues that were going on that led to the whole foot situation. So it hasn't been a smooth ride this whole 7, 8 years.
I see what you're saying. So
it led up to that.
You really did work within sickness and health. And you know what? I want to talk to Mrs. Watts, and I understand Mrs. Watts is here. Robert, can you please ask Mrs. Watts to come and join us? I'd love to chat with her. Thank you. You know, as I hear this, and I made reference to that Bible verse, Mr. and Mrs. Jackson, because it is very important for a family to be able to establish themselves. Hello, ma'am. How are you?
How you doing, Judge?
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Ms. Watts, I know your relationship with the defendant this is your son and this is your daughter-in-law. Talk to me about what this situation looks like in y'all's house.
My daughter-in-law, since we met her, she's always been sick. So when he's out working, I'm the one that helps her. And if I'm not there to give them the guidance that they need, I think the house will be out of control.
But what do you mean guidance, ma'am?
Well, you know, we all share the bills.
Oh.
And when it comes to the bills, I'm putting out more than they are.
Oh, so I need to go back to Genesis and ask King James to rewrite this part because the son has not left the home of the mother because the son and the wife can't afford to do it without the mother.
Oh, that would it sound like, right?
So the two of them need you in the household for a variety of reasons.
Yes.
But are you meddling, Miss Charlie?
I mean, for me, I wouldn't call it meddling. True enough, I do come in because I'm old school. I don't knock.
Now, Miss Charlie, you know I'm gonna be with you on a lot of things out of respect. But the one thing you need to be able to do is respect that marital bedroom.
Your Honor, I want privacy.
Yes.
I want privacy with me and my husband. Oh, gosh.
Okay, Mr. Jackson, have you put some boundaries in place?
Yes, ma'am. There's boundaries that are in place. I don't feel as though my mother needs to leave. I feel as though that we just need better boundaries.
You know, I love her to death. Don't get me wrong, I love Charlie. I love her. But maybe she could move across the street or maybe next door. You know, work it out.
So
that's what I was trying to...
But here's my question, and this is one for the three of you because the three of you are involved. Miss Charlie, I understand that you also help with just the housekeeping and keeping the house tidy.
Yeah, I got to make them clean up behind themselves, and if they don't...
What do you mean, make them clean up behind themselves? I think you submitted some evidence.
Yeah, I do have evidence.
Let me look at that. What in the world am I looking at?
Oh, my goodness.
That's, they stuff.
Is that a room in the house?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Jackson, something tells me you need Miss Charlie a little bit longer than you think. If
She is not gonna come in there and clean up nothing, okay? She gonna sit there and tell you what to do, and you better
That's
do
it.
it. That's all she gonna do.
But
she ain't gonna help clean it
again,
up.
this has been something that you all kind of signed up for. I think that the most practical thing to do is to sit down together and put a set of boundaries in place. Miss Charlie, bless your heart, but you're going to have to learn to respect your son and your daughter-in-law's privacy.
I just believe we need better understanding altogether, better communication altogether.
I agree with you because it still comes back to what we talked about earlier. Y'all speak in two different languages, and you do need to speak the same language. Miss Jackson?
Your Honor, this is the thing, right? You know, I respect her as a mother-in-law, but she gives me sex advice to how to keep my man, which is her son. She gives me advice. She shows me how to get on top.
It's not her
and she
wife.
demonstrates.
Listen,
And-
Wait a minute, Your Honor.
With me and my
Wait.
That's my bestie over there.
Your Honor. Now, that's old school wisdom, and it got me here.
Miss Charlie, thank you so very much for
Like, have
joining
my
us
baby.
today.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you. I
You're
really do.
welcome.
Mr. and Mrs. Jackson, y'all are made for each other. That is one thing that I can say for certain. You might speak multiple languages, but you are made for each other. I cannot imagine a couple more in sync in their spirit than y'all. But Miss Jackson, I really do believe, I know that you came here today because you and your husband, you say, have hit a rough patch and you want some boundaries in place. You're trying to deal with a new disability. I understand that. Mr. Jackson, you want your wife to accept her disability and kind of move on so that you all can continue to build your life. Let me just start with you. She's gonna need a moment. And I can't tell you how long it's gonna take. This is life-changing for her. And there are gonna be days where her downs are gonna be worse than her ups.
Okay.
And there are gonna be days when you're gonna have to step in that chasm and lift her spirit.
Okay.
And jokes are not going to be the thing that's going to lift her spirit. She's communicated that to you pretty effectively. There are days when just wrapping your arms around her and telling her it's going to be okay and she's going to get through it is a better choice for you to make.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Jackson, it's so wonderful that you're going to have laughter in your home. But now you're going to have that person to put his arms around you like that's what you need. Mr. Jackson has agreed to that. Will you tell your wife?
I agree to put my arms around you, talk to you, let you know everything's gonna be okay.
Promise.
Effective communication.
Okay. Okay.
Ms. Jackson?
I promise to, you know, don't be so emotional, you know, and crying all the time because I know you're a serious person and I'm in for the long run, for real, for real. When I get my leg, trust me, it's on and popping, but till then, I can't really do much. So you got to just be patient, okay?
I understand.
Be patient.
I got you.
Okay.
My work here is done. Oh, I'm so happy that some days this is not about addiction and who's hating on who and who's cheating and who's lying and looking through folks' phone. Some days it's just about they need to learn to communicate.
Absolutely. Those two are meant for each other.
100%.
They're meant for each other 100%. I mean, the only problem is the obvious. This happened only 3 months ago.
That's right.
And I could say, even myself, I sometimes use humor because I'm nervous, because, you know, this is traumatic. So if I make it funny, I'm thinking my wife is gonna laugh at it. But I'm glad you cleared that up.
There's a time and a place for everything, and sometimes you don't want Medea in your house.
No, he's a good Medea, by the way.
He's a really good Medea. You about to lose your husband.